guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Titalavinia of Titas of Pageantry, and for this episode, I'm going to be giving you my best dressed from the Binibining Pilipinas 2022 submission of applications. So please make sure that you stick around, please subscribe to the channel, as well as hit that bell notification button for your weekly pageant fix. Guys, I hope that you're doing well. I know that we just saw each other yesterday from my live session, but just what I have been mentioning all this time, we will be very busy this summer. As you know, Binibining Pilipinas has already mobilized with a 3-day affair, which was a feast for our eyes. But earlier this morning, today is a Saturday, April 9, Araw ng Kagitingan, Miss Universe Philippines also held an event. This was their formal press conference, because the first one was just a really casual get-together of the girls who were in Manila, but today is their major press conference. So I will be talking more on that probably tomorrow once I get the HD photos available. But for now, let's talk about Binibining Pilipinas, because I have been talking about Miss Universe Philippines extensively. And I feel like we need a little bit of a breather from that, because yeah, it was a fiesta when they opened the applications, which ran from April 6th up until April 8th. Now, I do know that some ladies submitted their applications online, and these are Jasmine Omay. She is from Tarlac. She also won Binibining Kanlahi just recently, so I'm really glad that she crossed over to Binibining Pilipinas, because she's actually the favorite of Tita B. I also heard reports that Gabi Basiano as well as Emmanuel Vera submitted their application online as well. So if we are waiting for some girls, just like the types of Jasmine Omali, maybe Steffi Aberasturi, I don't know, because we didn't get to see Steffi submit her applications, then hopefully these ladies submitted their applications online. Now we will get to find out who makes it apparently this coming April 22. So if you don't have any plans, do get to meet me out, because I will be there at the Araneta City covering the screening for Binibining Pilipinas. So I don't exactly have the time yet, but based on previous screening schedules, it's usually around evening. So yeah, let's have a party, because I'm not gonna go in, you guys. I'm usually outside. And let me address this a little bit, because I had a live session with you yesterday, and it was pretty rough, because we had a lot of other commenters there who weren't really very familiar to me and trying to really stir things around. So just for the record, for the nth time, let me just explain this. There was a commenter who nastily said that I don't get invited to these events. That is true. Well, at least for the major organizations such as Miss Universe Philippines, Miss World Philippines, Miss Philippines Earth, as well as Binibining Pilipinas, we really don't get invited, because their events are only open to accredited media partners, which means that if you are a pageant page or maybe a pageant personality, you have to write a letter, you have to apply for an accreditation. And this was something that we never did at Titas of Pageantry. Now, the rationale for this is because once you are an accredited media partner, you will lose a little bit of your freedom. You will get to join or maybe attend their events, and then of course they'll give you free reign on how you will post materials based on what happened to the events. But that's the most that you can do. You can't really say a lot about it. You can't really give them a critique. And this is something that we didn't want to happen, because we marketed ourselves as a pageant page that, you know, says things as it is. So that's the main reason, you guys. We never, not naman never, but we really don't get invited to these things simply because we're not accredited partners. Every once in a while, we do make an appearance. Just recently, we were at Miss World Philippines, but it was Tracy Maureen Perez who gave us the invite. So I hope that we're clear on this. Anyway, it won't matter, because whether they invite us or not, we will cover them extensively. So that's why I'm here now. Binibining Pilipinas submission of applications, this is something that we wait for every year. We anticipate this, because this is our first glimpse of who might win it all, who's a no-boodle beauty, and you know, who looks fresh. This is our first glimpse of anybody who might have their own sense of style, because you have to understand, a lot of the materials from these girls, these are created, or at least the imagery are created by the creative directors or maybe the stylists. So it's really nice to see them in a more natural setting. Now, of course, a lot of them really dress to the nines, because yeah, nothing really happened during the height of the pandemic. Now everything is slowly returning back to normal. There were a number of media people who were on the ground, so we really got to see photos and videos that were more on the raw side. So we got to see that, these were actually the goddesses that descended down to Cubao for that 3-day event. So I will be giving you a list of these 10 girls that I picked, which I felt really did a good job in fixing themselves up and presenting themselves as possible winners of one of the 4 titles at Binibining Pilipinas. Now, Tita, will there be a 5th crown? I'm hearing mumbles and whispers that they might acquire another franchise, but as of now, we don't have any idea as of yet. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and move into styling. I'm gonna be giving you my top 10 best dress list. Number 10, I'm gonna go with the pageant newbie. She is from Aces and Queens. Her name is Liz Mabao. Now, Liz went for something more streamlined, which I really appreciate, because if you're going for an application of submission or anything like this, and if you're new, if you don't really know how you will be packaging yourself, it's always great to go back to basics. And she was in a fitted dress. It was red. It had a halter top. It fit her well. She looked really nice, she looked really mabango, and I think more than being beautiful, Filipino pageant fans are really gearing towards ladies who look like they were fresh out of the shower. So I think it also helped that when these ladies came down to Cubao, it wasn't really as hot, because these past couple of days, we've been having, scattered rains here and there. So looking at Liz, I know very little about her, but I thought that she was a standout in red. And next, one of the most anticipated ladies to join Binibining Pilipinas. This is her 2nd try. I am talking about my number 9 spot, Graciela Liman. Now, Graciela's ensemble was styled by Paula Ballesteros, and she went for co-ords this time. She was in a casual suit, but what's interesting about this whole look was that they really wanted to showcase the work that was done on Graciela's body. She really hit the gym for this, and they really wanted to show that tiny waist and that hourglass figure. So she was in a jacket that coordinated with the skirt. It was striped. It was really nice. Maybe I would have changed what was inside, because it was a strange color. In some photos, it looked olive green. In some, it looked charcoal. So maybe if it were just white, or maybe if she just had closed the jacket, it would work, but I thought that this was a younger approach to a suit. So yeah, I think they really did the part in showcasing her beautiful transformation. Number 8 for me, this one is really very interesting because I honestly really liked her as a candidate, and I'm really glad to see her give it a try at Binibining Pilipinas. Number 8 for me is Tacloban's Chelsea Fernandez. Now, let me tell you a little bit about her dress. The dress was made by Daniel Manila. It was a silk type of dress, a satiny dress in gunmetal silver. And if you're not too keen on it, you might think that the streaks on her dress were just part of the whole design, because it actually worked. But I did have some insider information that on the way to the venue, Chelsea spilled body oil on her dress, and what I really like is just the confidence in bringing a soiled dress, because she couldn't take off, or she couldn't get the oil in time, or maybe change to a different wardrobe, so she just went for it and she just worked it. And I thought that showed absolute confidence on Chelsea's part, and she looked amazing. She looked really fresh, and I would keep on teasing her that had I been there, I would have probably touched her skin in a non-pervy manner. Let's welcome my number 7 spot, Christine Opiaza. Now, CJ Opiaza, as she is more known, is a veteran in the local pageant scene. She has won so many titles in the local pageant scene, but now we are seeing her try at the nationals, and if I may, I don't think that there is anything that would hinder her from being an official candidate at Binibining Pilipinas. First of all, she is tall, she is tan, she is young, she is beautiful, and just like Liz from my number 10 spot, she went for a streamlined look for the applications, and she did well with the monochrome action going on. She was a bronze goddess. She had a slip dress on, which is pretty much a few shades maybe shinier than her actual skin tone. So it paired well with her Bragais Jessa heels in that coffee color. She went for that whole bronzy look. Even her earrings were like on the bronzy side, and it was really nice because it did not break her lines, and it really showed her beautiful physique. She was really fit, she was curvy in the right places, and since this is your first impression of these girls, I thought that she did a really good job in introducing herself without even speaking. Next, oh, my number 6 spot is someone that we've been waiting for. I think I also, not that I think, I know. I mentioned her from the past videos of those we've been eyeing to get into the nationals, and I'm talking about Nicole Borromeo of Cebu. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Nicole Borromeo is considered as the flag bearer of Aces and Queens. Now, she's more known to us as Miss Millennial, which means that her comm skills are super duper pakak. And I can attest to this because I mentioned before, I attended a virtual event for a shampoo company and she was one of the key speakers. So I got a glimpse of how this girl speaks, her sense of humor, or how fast she processes ideas. So good thing is that, you know, she didn't have to really dazzle us with styling. She went for a cooler approach, a younger approach. She was in a suit this time. It was a little covered, but what's nice about this suit was that she had a jacket on, a corset, and a pair of pants, but the color really popped. I think that this was an aqua color that looked really good, whether you're thinking about spring or summer. So it was really cool to the eyes. It made her look more maaliwalas because next, I want to give my 5th spot to another pageant newbie. Well, this one is not a pageant newbie in terms of the local pageantry scene, but for the nationals, yes, she is. She is, of course, Trisha Abaya, who was a goddess in her gold ensemble. It was more like a sunflower gold maxi dress with a little bit of a chain action for the neckline. I thought that, you know, if you are unsure of how you're going to present yourself, might as well go for something streamlined, might as well go for something simple. And at 5'8", she's one of the, you know, taller girls in the competition. It seems that this batch, the ones who sent in their applications, most of them are actually quite tall, but she looked really long and lean in that maxi dress of hers. And I like that she didn't have a lot of accessories because the color of her dress already popped, and the neckline, the chain neckline was already, you know, a statement on its own. So good job to Trisha and her team. My 4th spot, I'm going to be giving this to my ube queen, my unicorn. She is, of course, Michelle Arceo, who did not waste time. Michelle just secured her first runner-up spot at Miss Environment International not too long ago. So a lot of us were really shocked and pleasantly surprised that she made the move to Binibining Pilipinas. And I like the way that she presented herself because Michelle can have a tendency to be more on the serious side. So this was a playful take on a suit. Now, her stylist for this is, of course, Kenneth Ramil, who we all know in the pageantry world as Samantha Bernardo's main go-to stylist. So I'm really glad that Kenneth was able to put together a really fun suit look for Michelle. She was in a purple cords, and then she had a shirt underneath, but I really like the color. This one is unexpected, but let me give more kudos to the pair of shoes that she wore because it was a really unexpected color, and I just like the youthful vibe of the whole look. It really softened Michelle, and it really made her look more approachable, maybe a little bit of that fun, you know, late 90s look with hair and makeup that made her look like Nancy Castiglione from back in the day. Next, number 3. Now, this one, I am not surprised because, you know, every time we have someone new on the block, of course, we gravitate towards this person. And we've been getting hints here and there of what she's capable of, but I'm talking about this newbie. Now, this newbie is a newbie in the local pageant scene, in the national pageant scene, in any pageant scene. And I am, of course, talking about the mysterious Anna Valencia. Now, as we all know, Anna is half German. She just recently arrived in the Philippines and got herself really involved in pageant training. Now, I got to speak to her a little bit. She seemed to be enjoying the process, and this is a competitive process for her. So she's attacking this differently. Of course, she looks fresh to our eyes because we haven't really encountered her before, but fresh because they simplified her look. And I'm really glad that the designer of her powder pink dress was Louis Pangilinan, who we all know is pretty well known with heavily embellished dresses. So for Mr. Louis Pangilinan to do something really simple, something that flatters Anna's body type, this was really a win-win situation. And if you look at the photos, whether she's alone or with some of the other applicants, she is really a standout because they simplified everything and they just really relied on her physique and that beautiful face, which I think has that similar vibe to Hannah Arnold when Hannah Arnold first started. Next, my number 2 spot, I am going to give this to the lady who really blew us away. I am talking about Diana Mackey. Now, Diana Mackey was another golden goddess who made her presence felt at the Binibining Pilipinas applications, and she was in a golden Daniel Manila creation. Now, of course, the cut is very similar to that of Chelsea's. The only difference is that although it's more of a structured type of dress with a little bit of draping, the difference with Diana's dress is the hem. It's a lot longer. It's more of a midi. Now, I think that this really works because Diana does have stronger features, so I think to soften her up, people would assume that she would go for something lighter. But I like the direction because it popped. I mean, she looked like an Oscar trophy. This was in the afternoon. She had her hair straightened. I like that everything just seemed so simple. I like that the makeup just enhanced her natural features but not really compete with everything that she was wearing, and even her accessories were very minimal. Unlike back in the day, if you remember, these Binibining Pilipinas girls would be in fitted dresses in all of the patterns and all of the colors of the rainbow with, you know, big earrings. So I'm glad that they're pulling back a little. I'm glad that they're going for a more minimalist look. But even if Diana had a minimalist look, she made sure that the color popped, and pop it did because her photos are everywhere. Next, my number 1 spot, I will be reserving this for later. I will be giving special shout outs to some of these girls. Roberta Tomondong is someone that we have been anticipating in the national pageant level. I was just a little confused with her overall ensemble because she had the Annabelle jacket, lace corset, and then leather shorts, so that was just a little too much for me. But I will say that her pair of shoes are like some of my favorite pairs that I cannot afford. She was wearing the double bow Mac and Mac crystal embellished pumps, which honestly retails for around 60 to 62,000. So even if I wasn't too crazy about her outfit, I was really crazy about her shoes. I will also give a shout out to Sarangani's Fatima Bisan. She really rocked the sequins, and you know, even in the afternoon she could definitely do that. Josh Di Maculangan also looked really fresh in her all-white ensemble. It was billowy. It was like a modern Filipiniana interpretation. I also want to give a shout out to Nika Bernardo, who we last saw at Miss Universe Philippines. I'm glad that she, you know, is still in fighting form. Why not? She was in a mint bodycon. I thought that the color was a really appropriate color for summer. Also to Elda Asnar, I like the top part of her dress, of her pantsuit, but maybe the pants for me needed something like a more streamlined cut or maybe a nicer make. But other than that, it served its purpose. She looked really long, and why wouldn't she? She's 5'10". So yeah. These are my special mentions. Before I move on to my number 1 spot, I will be, of course, giving this to Karen Lori Mendoza. Now, Karen Lori's look was styled by Kenneth Ramil as well. She was in coords this time, and this was in powder pink. This was made by Cana Designs, and what I like about this is that it had golden stud details, which really livened up the whole ensemble, because she could easily go for a powder pink coords. But what made this work for me was that it was directional, it was also intentional. I mean, yesterday I was in a really big bow because of Karen and because of Celeste Cortesi, who has been sporting this bow look, but I really like that she looked a little bit like a 60s French actress, like very Brigitte Bardot with her hair, which was made, you know, very Ariana Grande-ish. And I like that little bow because according to Kenneth, this was actually a ribbon from his Dior perfume. So I like the sustainability factor of the whole ensemble. So there you go, guys. I'm pretty excited for all of the fashion looks that we will be seeing this pageant season. I know that there were still so many girls that I didn't get to mention, but this is my list, and it's a pretty short list. I hope that everybody will step up so that we can talk about them more. But for now, I'm going to say goodbye, and I will be seeing you, honestly, really very soon. As soon as I get those HD photos, I'm going to make another one for you. So, thank you.